Okay, so D4 early access for extra money is pay to win. Oh my goodness, man. If you add early access for any kind for tier bundle or extra fee over the base game, it is pay to win, and I would not buy D4. So I think actually, I don't know if I would argue against this, actually. I don't think I would argue against this to a certain extent. Yeah, like it could defend. It really depends on like what you think encompasses pay to win, right? So maybe arguing against this isn't really productive in any way here. I swear to God, it's like they're clueless and would try anything to get their greedy, grubby hands on an extra dollar, regardless how it affects the player base. So I mean, yeah, they're out to make money. Yeah, Blizzard is a company that sells games and makes money selling games. So I don't know why you're shocked. I don't know why. Is this supposed to be something that's shocking? Is this supposed to be like a shocker here? Like a plot twist? Blizzard is a corporation that is looking to make money. Is this your plot twist here? I mean, yeah, okay. So early access for money is pay to win, and Blizzard wants money. Okay, so yeah, okay. So sure. I think that I don't know if I would argue against those things, against those points. If you're not going to buy D4 because of it, I guess that's your decision, really. I think that most people are still going to buy D4, and the fact that if they do have, I don't know if this is confirmed or not yet, but if they do have a like early access bundle where it costs a little more, the ultimate bundle or whatever it becomes, that gives you early access, I'm going to buy it. Without a doubt, I'm going to buy it. It's kind of like, I'm kind of reliant on playing the game and streaming it and getting it as soon as I can. So of course I'm going to pay for it and buy it. I think most people will buy it, and that's, this is kind of like a no duh moment, because if Blizzard is indeed a company that wants to make money and they're doing this, they're doing this because they're going to make more money off of it, right? Which means people like this person, Bravada here, that are claiming that they're not going to buy D4. So is this like a speak with your wallets moment? Is this a speak with my? I'm going to speak with my wallet, right? I'm not going to buy D4 because they have this, but they're doing this because they want money, and they know that more people are going to spend the money for it than the people that are just going to not buy D4 completely and just boycott it or whatever. They're not going to play it at all. They're never going to buy it, right? So obviously, Blizzard is making this choice for a reason, because it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to do well. I don't know if like early access is also going to be bundled with some other perks, but having premium bundles where are collector's editions or ultimate or whatever editions of the game is not something new. It's not something new in the industry by any means. This isn't like shocking. This isn't shocking. Now, going back to, is it pay to win or not? Okay, so if you think that getting a head start on the game is pay to win, so you pay basically, so let's say you get like 3 days early access or something like this, right? I don't know the details on this yet. You get 3 days early access, you pay for the money to get 3 days early access. You're paying to win to get a 3-day head start. Okay. And I just mentioned earlier about how I'm not completely opposed to pay to win in games. It's not really to me about whether or not pay to win exists in a game. It's whether or not it's just the severity of the pay to win. Can free to play players catch up? Can people that aren't spending the money catch up? Can you still do all that stuff, play the entire game, get to the end game, max out your character without having to pay money? That's the big thing to me. So with those guidelines for pay to win, Diablo Immortal is pretty bad. It's pretty egregious, right? Like the pay to win is very powerful. The gap between the free to play players and the whales in Diablo Immortal is too large. I've said this many times. I criticize this. I think that the gap should be lessened by giving free to play players access to more legendary crests, that kind of thing. Bring them up closer so that there's not such a bad, so pay to win isn't as bad, right? Now, if you take those guidelines and you apply it to this, if say you get like a 3-day head start, maybe even a week head start, or whatever, you're gonna catch up, dude. You're gonna catch up. You might play 3 days later than everyone else, but you can definitely catch up. Okay, it's pay to win, sure, but is that a big deal? Is that like a hard line in the sand, or hell I'm gonna die on, that I'm just gonna completely like not play the game because of it? No, this is I feel like this is a little bit extreme here. That you're not gonna buy D4. Of course, it's your decision. You can decide whatever you want. If you think you're speaking with your wallet or whatever you're doing, that's fine. I don't think that anyone is going to be speaking with their wallet to any extent that's going to actually be noticed by Blizzard. So I don't think that's even a thing, right? Like I said, they wouldn't be doing this unless more people were going to be buying the game compared to the people not buying the game. So this isn't speaking with your wallet here isn't going to do anything. You're going to miss, if you want to miss out on D4, then miss out on D4. That's your choice. But for me, like, okay, even if I didn't pay the extra money for the premium bundle for the early access, and I start 3 days later, I'm gonna catch up. I'm a gamer. I know how to catch up. I know how to play games. I know how to farm. I know how to grind. Maybe I don't want to buy the early access bundle because the before the game comes out, I'm busy. Maybe I have people have things to do. Maybe they're not even home yet. Maybe they got other things to do. Maybe they weren't going to start right on the early access release anyways. So, people starting a few days later than everyone else isn't the biggest deal in the world to me. It just isn't. Like, I mean, if you actually play like games where the pay to win is as egregious, is really bad and just really powerful pay to win, this is nothing. This is just nothing compared to it. Every Call of Duty game does the same shit. You are paying for stash? Number 2. Me too, man. Come on, Blizzard. Sell our stash space. We're gonna all buy it. There was a supposed survey that listed potential pre-order Premier Edition bundles. So is this all just like is this not even like something that is officially announced yet? This might not even happen. This is just all speculation. Early access and probably some skins. Yeah. Because they already mentioned that there's not going to be like a pay-to-win shopping game, right? But they did mention selling cosmetics, so maybe something like that would definitely would incentivize people to pay a little more for if they bundle together early access and cosmetics. I think that's a good move. I think that's nice to have, and I think a lot of people will enjoy that. It just really depends on what you encompass as pay-to-win, right? Like, you could argue like in a lot of games there's competitive advantages when it comes to like having monitors, like equipment, right? Like monitors, keyboards, mice, whatever. Like all this stuff can be construed if you want to, like, it depends on what you think encompasses pay to win, but technically you are paying for advantages in some aspect when you have a nice mouse, when you have a fast updated mouse that has whatever high frequency DPI nonsense shit, whatever people buy, or a mechanical keyboard, or a monitor with a high refresh rate, whatever advantages there, I guess. Groups will be ahead of you at launch. Is a 10-day season. Sure, it might matter. At a 4-month season, probably not. Exactly. Yeah. This is our non-season anyways. Yeah, I mean, when they're going to do a new season, it's going to be a fresh start. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, okay, you miss out on the first 3 days of the release for the vanilla release, but then they release seasons. And are you still going to be crying about this? Do you think that people will still be crying about this a month after the release? Or when they release the first season? No one's going to care. No one's going to give a shit. Honestly, no one's going to remember it. And to say that you're not going to play D4 at all because of it, I mean, sure, that's your loss, I think. Like, you're not going to play the first season because people played the vanilla release 3 days before you or whatever. I mean, whatever, man. Whatever. You haven't touched a non-season character in years. I never do either. Whenever there's seasons, it's like you play the season, your character will get transferred to non-season, and then they just get left there. For me, they just get left there to decay and rot. Unless I want to log on and do some testing for some reason or something. I don't know. They're considering 7 days. maybe have some kind of economy, but you have to remember that we don't know the ins and outs of everything. But they did the blog post talking about itemization and trading. They said that it's going to be really limited trading where the best items can't be traded for. You have to actually play the game and earn them. You gotta get them to drop for yourself, and then they're like bound for the best items. And then other things are kind of limited trading. But yeah, the game we're having an economy, sure, at least to a certain extent. Did this guy? Okay, original poster here. Did the original poster just compare this to the Olympics? Oh god! Oh my god! Did he compare this to the Olympics, dude? People are telling this guy to chill, and this guy responds with the Olympics. The Olympics of D4. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like this person said, selling early access can obviously be considered pay to win. I'm not going to argue against it. Yeah. If you want to consider it, that's fine. It's just in this survey, man. People are already freaking out about this just because it was in the survey. Snowballs into a glacier. It's how it snowballs into a glacier of pay to win. Original poster here, doing the slippery slope fallacy here, I think. Blizzard has said many times that they're not going to sell pay to win in the shop. So this person thinks that because there's going to be early access for some people, potentially, not even a guaranteed thing, just because they include it in the survey. But even if they did do it, they think that if they do it, that this is somehow going to go up. This gonna change everything, and all of a sudden that this is going to be just extreme pay to win game now. I don't know. I don't think so. The gateway drug foot in the door, snowballs into glacier of pay to win because of early access. Yeah, this seems a little bit extreme to me. A little bit extreme. This seems like an overreaction by a lot. You are not a gamer anymore. Damn, dude. Original poster calling people out, calling these non-gamers out. We're not gamers anymore. Damn, man. Now we're getting now we have a gatekeeper for gaming. We have a gatekeeper for gaming all of a sudden. We're being gatekeeped, man. I can't consider myself a gamer anymore due to this. Oh man. I mean, we don't even know if this is gonna happen. I think that obviously Blizzard put it in the survey just to get a feel of like what people want, what would be profitable for them, what people would be willing to pay for, that kind of thing, right? So it's not really like it's not really even an issue. Oh, here we go, Leviathan. So hold on, what's the argument that when one starts playing a game is pay to win? Pay to win is effort versus reward, not when the effort is put in. The only instance when time would be a factor is if there wasn't enough time for everyone to put in the same amount of effort. However, D4 will be out for years. Playing a week early in a game that will be played for decades will have no effect on outcome versus effort. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, like I said earlier, it's no one's gonna, if there is early access, no one's gonna remember it or care about it a month later, you know. No one. It's just, especially when the first season comes out. You know, it's, people will have different play times. Some people will be able to play the game a lot. Some people won't be able to have time to play the game as much. People have different lives. It's just, you're not going to be able to standardize the amount of playtime everyone has. It's just not. And we don't want that either, right? We don't want there to be like a timer on a game where it's like, oh, well, you can only play this much, because we have to have everything on equal playtime. Pay to win means that given equal amounts of effort, the outcome would be different due to one playing for progression and the other one not. So, as we know, DI fits that. However, early access, paid or not, doesn't influence effort. Someone who starts a week later can achieve the same level of win as the one who started a week earlier. Same effort, same outcome. Yeah, I mean, Leviathan brings up a really good point here. Someone can put in 10 hours in early access to get to get 10 hours of outcome, right? Get their character to level, say it takes 10 hours to get their character to level 40, right? They spent 10 hours to get their character to level 40. Now the game releases, comes out of early access. Someone that picks up the game also spends 10 hours to get to level 40. Like, you can put in the hours, like, you can put in the hours, man. You can put in the hours. This is a game that's going to be out for long enough where you can put in as many hours as you want. You can, you can no life the game if you really want to. If you have no other obligations, you can just, hell, you can quit your job and play the game as much as you want if you want. I mean, if you have a family, then you got to get rid of your family somehow. I don't know. But no, just kidding. I'm one to promote healthy gaming lifestyles, right? Like, don't ruin your lives over games, guys. I didn't start playing D3 until around ROS release, so there were thousands of players who played before I did, 2 years. They certainly didn't pay to win. Once I started playing, I caught up to everyone, thus reaching the same level of win with the same effort as everyone before me. Yep, and we know that D3 has had multiple seasons. They're on the 27th season now, right? I could see seasonal play being an issue if the season was so short that people couldn't catch up before it ends. However, with enough time, D3 seasons, for example, people would have enough time to catch up and even supplant those who got to play early. It's likely moot, though, because that would also require starting a season during the early access, which I don't see happen. No, there's no way. There's no way. People that don't have money to buy when the D4 comes out, those on vacation, those have to wait for Christmas, birthday, etc. Yeah, so like it could be like, maybe the game comes out with this $60 box price. What if someone can't afford this $60 box price right away? What if they're like, oh man, maybe I have to wait until it goes on sale. And then they pick up the game years later down the road and then jump into the next season that happens. Like, okay, big deal. Like, I mean, you can play later, you can jump into a season later. Like, you don't have to, it's not, the correlation to the Olympics here was just like, what the fudge, man. The correlation between some Olympic sprinter that starts ahead of everyone or something, it's like, God, dude, you really do have to calm down. I don't know what the real money auction house, I don't know why bringing up the real money auction house is a point here. Yeah, so I don't know why the real money auction house really brought up here, but basically any game with like open trade, it's okay. I've said this many times. People criticizing the real money auction house on D3, saying that it was such a bad thing, that it was just like Blizzard pay to win and all this other stuff, right? Technically, if you want to say that the real money auction house in D3 was pay to win, you have to say that every game with open trading is pay to win, which I do agree with. I can make that statement. Any game with open trading is pay to win. The only difference here with the real money auction house is that you just saw it. You saw it. People all of a sudden saw people were spending real money on items in games that had open trading, and it blew their freaking mind. They're like, I never knew this was a thing. Are you kidding me? Like, any game that has open trading, you can find a third-party website that is selling items on it. like these people didn't realize this. Like, it's not the real money auction house that was pay to win. That Blizzard didn't invent pay to win in an open trading game. They didn't do that. They just made it convenient so that you could do it within the game, and it was you weren't going to get scammed. You weren't going to get scammed. You didn't have to give a third-party website your credit card and all this other stuff. Like, it was actually, I actually preferred it over just having an open trading game with no real money auction house. Like, I would rather have it, if you're going to do open trading, you might as well put it in there, because people are going to do it regardless. They're going to go to third-party websites and they're going to swipe their credit card and get gear, and they're going to pay to win. They're going to pay to win. The only difference is that these other guys just didn't see it. They didn't see it. They didn't realize that it happens. But we already know that that's well, it depends on what's going to be tradable, right? We really need the details here on what exactly is going to be tradable in D4 and what the economy will look like. I mean, if it's they said very limited trading. I mean, if you can trade and buy, like I guess to make a correlation to maybe DI here, like if DI the only thing you could buy was like scrap materials and arcane dust, then who gives a shit? Like that doesn't do anything. That's not going to be an economy, right? Like some people might need that stuff and trade for it, but for the most part, like that's easy to get in game and very easy to farm for. It's not an issue. Time is a resource. I mean, yeah, but of course it is. Of course it is. How is this relevant though? Yes, time is a resource. That's why we want time to play games and we want time to farm. I mean, it's I'm confused by that. Yeah. So time is a resource. Like in pay to win games, people can pay money to get what they want because maybe they don't have the time. You know, some people actually, believe it or not, some people actually prefer a lot of pay to win. They like mobile, how most mobile games have a lot of pay to win because they don't have as much time to play the game, or maybe they're just not good at games. Maybe they're just not like, you know, it feels good in like Diablo Immortal to keep swiping and then start winning battleground matches and being basically carried by the pay to win, especially if you're not really someone that is usually a competitive person or not in the competition because they don't play at that level or something, right? Like, oh, it feels good all of a sudden to be winning a game for once, right? So I'm going to keep swiping because I have money. I have that money to spend on the game, and I don't necessarily have the time or the skill or the effort or anything else, you know. So those people prefer pay to win games. It's true, especially if they're very pay to win. Only instance when time would be a factor is if there wasn't enough time for everyone to put in the same amount of effort. However, D4 would be out for years. Yeah. Oh, Ancient Nightmare is showing up in DI here. You have a limited amount of time. I mean, again, I don't think anyone's going to care about this shit down the road here. Like if you, like say we have like 3 days early access or something, maybe even a week. Let's just say a week. I doubt there's going to be a whole freaking week of early access. Sounds pretty crazy to me. But let's say there's a whole week of early access. And let's say we find out like how many hours people put in during that week. Maybe someone buys the early access, gets the week early access, and let's say they average 8 hours a day. Let's just, for a very even number here, let's just say 10 hours. That's a lot. Playing 10 hours a day is a lot, right? For most people. That's way above average. Way above average. Way. This is like, once you get to 10 hours per day, values here, we're talking about that's like you're basically a hardcore gamer, you're a blaster, you don't have too many real life obligations, whether it be work, school, or family, whatever. You're among the top in playtime there, right? 10 hours per day. So 10 hours times 10 times 7 days is 70. So 70 hours, right? They got 70 hours. Over the course of a month, maybe 2 months. What does that 70 hours really mean? What does it really mean? It's gonna, the value, you know, people are gonna catch up. People are gonna catch up. Those people, we're not gonna get into a situation here where a month or 2 months after the release, people are like, damn, you started a week before me. There's no way I can catch up. You're more powerful than me because of it. Because you're more powerful because you started a week earlier, right? There's no way for me to catch up. Well, that's probably just because you didn't put in as many hours. That's probably because of other things. That's probably because you have real life obligations. That's probably because you didn't spend 10 hours a day playing the game. It's probably because you just didn't put in the time required to get the outcome that you want. And again, if this is not a pay to win game where there's a cash shop that gives you power, then you have to spend the time. You have to spend the time. The limited time thing, the argument here, these guys are talking as if they're going to be dead within a week of the release. Like, honestly, it's oh shit, that's dark. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. These people literally think that the game is going to cease to exist a week after release. Have these people played any Diablo game for more than a week? Most people that are playing, I mean, I played a lot of Diablo games. I played a lot of D3, a lot of DI, D2, PoE, whatever it be. I spent a lot of hours in these games, right? These games are not something that I played for like a couple of days or a week and then just never played again. And if that's the case, then who cares about this whole thing? Who cares about this argument about pay to win if you're going to just put a week, if you're going to quit after a week, right? These games, let me break it to you guys. Let me break it to Shad out here. I'll break it to him. These games are meant to be played for a very long time, over the course of years, months and years, right? People are still playing D2, for God's sake. Before D2R came out, people were still playing D2, you know, the original D2 release with the expansion. People can play this for a long ass time. Yes, I guess technically I can't argue that time is limited. We are all on this earth for a limited amount of time, guys. We're all on this earth for a limited amount of time. You make the most out of your life, okay? But you can play this game for over a very long period of time if you want to. No one cares. No one's going to be talking about a week early access down the road. They're meant to be grindable games that you just keep playing and playing and playing. And hopefully there is like some kind of end goal here, right? There's some kind of like, you've gotten the max level, you got a max whatever it is, Paragon and max gear, and you've gotten everything done. You're going to hit that point too. And then other people can also catch up and hit that point. Or they're usually the gains early on in a game like this, in ARPGs in general, the gains early on are very, very high. You climb up very quickly with your gains, and then it starts to level off your gains as you get higher and higher, right? And you have to put more and more time in order to get gains into the game. There's a curve here when it comes to time spent and gains, right? So yeah, you're going to catch up. And again, with season resets, no one gives a fudge. You're going to start over. There's going to be a new race. There's going to be a new, if there's a season every 3 months or something like there is in D3, then there's going to be a new race every 3 months or so. You miss one race. If this is indeed like as the original poster said, an Olympic race, an Olympic sprinting race. Okay, well, yeah, fine. Let's go with that analogy. You're going to be behind on the start of the race, of the first race of the game. And then there's going to be many, many, many more races to come. They should have given the game for free. Sometimes people just want it all. Yeah, sometimes people want it all. I've heard people, say they basically want a free game that doesn't have pay to win. And they just want it all. They just, some people, like the original poster here, surprised and shocked that Blizzard is trying to make a buck. And they're out to make financial gains. Like that's some kind of like plot twist or shock to us. Like they shouldn't be doing that or something, right? No, they're trying to get paid. People do. That's why they made the game. They made D4 because they want to get paid. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have D4 if they weren't going to get paid, right? From a business perspective, a business rewarding its paying customers with perks don't seem out of the ordinary. Yes, it's unfair to a degree, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, I agree. People are mad at Overwatch 2, even though the game is free. They used to have to unlock characters for free. I mean, it's the grind. It's still grinded. Still grinded. I mean, if you have the time, you gotta grind it, or if you have the money, then you can pay to unlock it, right? There's two options there. If time is money, then money is time, and vice versa. So do whichever one. If you're money rich, spend the money to unlock the characters. If you're time rich, then spend the time to farm the characters, right? An actual revenue stream can have a far better product. Yeah. And this is kind of something that we saw with D3 too. It's like yeah, exactly. D3 was like, okay, well, Blizzard really wasn't making additional income with D3, and it showed. It showed and reflected the development with D3. Now, more recently, I feel like Blizzard has upped their game with updating D3 with the season themes and the patches. Like, they have upped their game. It's true. So I think honestly, I think D3 devs have gone above and beyond what really is expected of them from having very little continuous income from the product. Most people have already bought D3, and adding these new seasons to D3, I don't know if that really like brings a lot more sales to D3 or not, but D3 isn't a $60 game anymore either. So, I don't think that even if some people, even if the new seasons or updates did incentivize new players to all of a sudden discover the game and buy it, I don't think that was a lot of income in total. I think that having updated seasons, themes, and patches on D3 was more than I would have ever expected to begin with. So it was nice to have that, but there was a time in D3 where development was kind of slowing down a bit, and it really showed probably because due to lack of income, right? Having a game with constant income is incentive and funds to create more content for it. And we'll see that with DI. We'll see constant updates and content with DI coming because they have constant income, and hopefully we'll see that with D4 also. You've been very encouraged with the support they have given D3 over the past year. True, and maybe that was the plan. Maybe that was the incentive for the D3 team to kind of kick it up a notch and start doing bigger updates for D3. Maybe they're like, well, this might actually boost our reputation for D4, right? So yeah, it could definitely that could be a motivation. Sometimes it's not just like the immediate income of the game sales that is the motivation. Sometimes it's just building a reputation and looking forward to the following title release. Don't do it, guys. I'm telling you guys, don't look at him.
He's looking right at the camera.
Don't look at him. He's trying to take your soul right now.